Hi, and welcome back to Tuk-Tuk Travels. It's a good girl.
After we had finished in Vietnam, we headed back to Thailand to Chiang Mai. Now, our time in Chiang Mai coincided with the Thai New Year, Songkran. But before we headed into those festivities, one of the things my mother most wanted to do in Thailand was ride on the back of an elephant. Now, a lot of the time you see these images of a nice seat on the back of an elephant, but these things really aren't very good for the elephant. Unless they're made of a very light wood, they're very heavy. And actually on the spine of an elephant, although they have thick skin, they can only carry around 100-110 kilograms on their back. And when you consider an average person's weight is around 60 or 70, then along with the weight of the chair you're sitting on, it's really not very good for the elephant. Also, with regard to some of these places, they say, oh, you can ride an elephant, yah. But they don't treat the elephants that well, and they'll see they have cuts where they use a bullhook to train them. So, I mean, I'd love to ride an elephant as well, but before I booked anything, I did a lot of research, a lot of research, to find a place that treated the elephants well, and you would ride individually on the backs of them, or on their necks here, which can hold a lot more weight than their backs can. So the first place I found was a place called Patara. Now, Patara Elephant Sanctuary is the best rated elephant thing in Thailand. It's meant to be fantastic for the elephants. And unfortunately, this was booked, fully booked. So I did some more research, and I found a place called Rantong. Now this had really good reviews, and all of them seemed to say that the elephants were treated nicely. There was no evidence of bullhook use, they appeared healthy, they could walk around and things. So I thought, oh, that's pretty good. So I booked that. Now, we got there, and apart from two, I think they were Colombian, two Colombian boys, we were the only ones, and they were only there for half a day. So we basically had the place to ourselves. And we went on a few treks with the elephants up and down the mountains where it was located. And you fed them, and then you kind of rode them to the waterfalls. Now, being the end of the dry season, the waterfall was not very watery. It was just rock. But you got to the lake, and we got in the water, and you washed the elephants down after the dusty, dirty trek. And apart from avoiding the floating elephant poos, as soon as they get in the water, they just release their bowels. It was kind of like, but besides avoiding the elephant poos, that was really nice. And I haven't seen my mother smile that much in an awfully long time. So I think she really enjoyed it as well. But yeah, it was a really lovely experience. The elephants seemed quite well treated. There was a baby elephant there who was running around being a nuisance, tripping people up. It was a really enjoyable day out. As I mentioned, our time in Chiang Mai coincided with Songkran, which is the Thai New Year. Although this used to be fixed on the lunar calendar, it's now set between the 13th and 15th of April. Traditionally, Songkran was a time when you pay respects to your elders. Originally, you would throw water over an image of a Buddha, and this would bring you good luck. You would then catch the water and gently pour it over the shoulders of your family or an elder to bless them with the blessed water that had been on the Buddha's image. Over time, this has kind of changed somewhat, and now Songkran is a free-for-all countrywide water fight lasting 3 days. Now, I really wanted to be in Chiang Mai for Songkran, which is one of the reasons we went there. Chiang Mai is always rated the best place to have Songkran. The entire old city is just a water fight. You cannot walk from one building to another without being drowned. People line up with ice cold water, throw it in you. You're sitting in a car and they'll get through the cracks in the window. They're that well trained. With a water gun as well. You're sitting in Songkran and the window's down by that much. And then all of a sudden you get a jet of icy cold water hit the back of your neck as some 5-year-old outside has perfectly aimed their what are they called? Water pistols. They're good. But no, it's fantastic. It is just now a giant water fight. And the water is meant to wash away the your sins and your bad luck. It's all meant to wash it away. Which is why sometimes they'll also use chalk, and it does the same thing. That's fantastic. So the first day we were there was the 13th, and we went to the elephant reserve. And even then, we went in a tuk-tuk, or we went in a song tour even, and the song tour would stop so that people could throw ice cold water over us. But it wasn't all bad. Sometimes, especially if there's adults there, they'd throw icy cold water at you, and then give you some nice homemade moonshine to warm you up again. And you kind of had a light head by the time you were out of the elephant sanctuary. It was good fun. But yeah, so the next 2 days, my parents and I didn't actually do that much. We walked around the city looking at a few temples. But mainly, I bought a water pistol, and they bought a camera in a waterproof bag. And we went around drowning people. And it's amazing. No one's complains. Everyone's involved. The entire inner city is blocked off to traffic, except for fire engines and song tours. Now the fire engines, you'd thought, oh, they're good. They're there to help you. No, they're there to have fun. They get up and they throw water over you. The police are walking around with water backpacks, drowning people. The army's out with their drowning hoses. Oh. I have never been so wet in my life. I've swum in oceans, and I have never been as wet I was over those couple of days. You can't dry off. You begin to get dry, and then you turn the corner, and there's 10 5-year-olds with buckets of water that just throw on you. Oh, it was so much fun. And it was just an incredible time. They had stations dotted around the ring road outside the city, where there's music blaring and people with hoses, and you can't see for the water. It was one of my best experiences in Thailand so far, Songkran. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. My parents left on the 15th, so for that day I was by myself, really. I went around and I met a Thai girl, and I basically hung around with her and her friends, throwing water around. And at the end, she was like, oh, come on, we're moving. And basically, she and her brother and their friends will go back to her house where her parents are there. And they're like, Farang! And they give me lots of beer and food and dance, and I had a little party. It was good fun. But that's just how friendly everyone is. It was a lovely experience. Also, while I was there, my friends Matthew and Adrian were also in Chiang Mai, and I met up with them a few times to go water soaking. We also saw a couple of things. Now, I went by myself. My hotel had a little temple guide, and you could walk around. And it was nice to see. There are so many temples in Chiang Mai. I won't mention all of them, but there's a few that really stuck out, and I went to see these with Adrian and Matthew. The first was Wat Chedi Luang, which was started in the 14th century but not finished until the mid-15th century. This temple was one of the original homes of the Emerald Buddha. Now, the Emerald Buddha was put in the temple in the eastern niche in 1468. But by 1551, an earthquake had struck, which destroyed the top 30 meters of the temple. To protect the Emerald Buddha, it was then transferred to Luang Prabang, which, although then Thai, is now in Laos. But this temple, Wat Chedi Luang, can claim that it was one of the original homes of the Emerald Buddha, which is quite cool, and it's a really nice looking temple. It was completely rebuilt in the 1990s, and some people have complained that it's a Middle Thai style as opposed to a Lanna style, but it still looks quite nice. And fortunately that was literally next door to my hotel, the most famous temple in Chiang Mai. Very easy. But while we were also there, Matthew, Adrian and I went around we found a Burmese temple, and that was really nice. It isn't one of the tourist temples, it was this tiny temple tucked away down an alley somewhere. And it seemed they didn't get many tourists. They looked at us funny, kind of said hello. And then it turns out the Burmese Songkran is much more rigorous than the Taiwan. There's not so much water fighting, it's still quite religious ceremony. And people fast for most of the day. And when we turned up, it was the very end of the fast on the final day of Songkran. And which time all the monks come out and the nuns come out and people feed them. And we were invited to sit down and eat with them. You have to wait until they're finished eating and then you have your own food. But it was really nice. We went around this Burmese temple, and the people there basically travelled from Burma to this temple in Chiang Mai for Songkran. And they were showing us around. And one of the people who were showing us around was a gentleman who is the CEO of Avis Car Rental in Burma. And he basically said, here's my card, here's my number, blah blah. If you're ever in Burma, let me know, and you can have a car, just go around things. So I've made connections, which is always nice. But that was just a really nice experience, eating with the monks and sharing the last day of their religious festival. And it was nice that they let us. Now, Matthew, Adrian and I also went to Wat Phra Tat Doi Satep, which is this temple in the mountains, in Doi Satep, which is the name of the mountain. Now the theory goes, a monk found the relics of I think it was the shoulder bone of the Buddha. He took it to the Sukhothai king in southern Thailand, but all the miracles he'd seen with the bone didn't work for the king, so he just passed it off as a regular bone. However, the king of Lanna, which is northern Thailand, and now Chiang Mai sort of area, said, that's okay, bring it here, and I will house this relic. When it got up to Lanna, the bone split in two. One of the pieces stayed the same size, and there was another smaller piece. Now the king took the main big piece and put it in a temple. But with the little piece, he strapped it to the back of a white elephant, and then released the white elephant into the wild. They followed this white elephant through the jungle, and it walked all the way up to the top of Doi Satep, trumpeted thrice, and then promptly died. And on the site where the elephant died is now the Wat Phra Tat Doi Satep temple, and it's one of the holiest places in Thailand, which is really quite nice. What I can say for it is it's very shiny. There are lots of steps, and there's lots of gold plate. It's a very, very shiny place. But it was really nice to walk around, and there were fantastic views around the surrounding mountains and over onto Chiang Mai. So it was really nice to look at. After my time in Chiang Mai and Songkran, having been so drowned that my body just permeated water, I headed back to Bangkok because my friend Zoe was arriving for a visit to Thailand and we were going to travel around. But I should tell you all about that next time. So until then, goodbye.